Yes guys, I'm back with another video. Sorry for my absence. I've had that, whatever that cold is it's going around, or that COVID-20, whatever you want to call it. I've had that. As you get, my voice is still a bit, my voice completely went, so obviously making videos is kind of out the window when your voice goes, believe it or not. So today I basically just wanted to make this video around the dad bod stigma. I'm sure everybody watching this has a rough idea of what the dad bod is, what it looks like. You probably know somebody with a dad bod. So this video is basically for people with the dad bod who want to change it and the steps to take, because I keep getting, people come to me in this situation. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to cut all my body fat, but then I won't have any muscle, and then I could go on a big bulk and put on loads of muscle, but then I might put on more fat, and they're just kind of stuck in this cycle of trying to figure out what to do. So hopefully this video will kind of clear that up for anybody in this situation that doesn't know whether to start going to the gym to go on a big bulk, to put on muscle, to try and change the dad bod appearance, or go on the treadmill for an hour and try and burn off the fat. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through everything that I would do in that situation and things that I know have worked in that situation, and what the best approach to take is. Obviously it's different for every person, because there's a variety of dad bods, believe it or not. There's different levels of body fat percentage, there's different frames, different sizes. We're all human, we all come in different shapes and sizes, right? But the dad bod stigma is something that I just wanted to address today, so I want to get into it. So what is the dad bod? I basically just want to make this as simple as possible, because people tend to overcomplicate a lot of stuff. So the dad bod is basically a male body that has low muscle mass. So you might have skinny arms, skinny legs, you might have no muscle development in your chest or your back or anywhere, but you hold high body fat. So what happens is, when this is the case, you'll tend to see people that they're kind of shaped like this. So they're just straight down, and then a bit comes out of the belly, and then straight down again. And that's what the dad bod is. It's like this kind of thing. Whereas, like a more athletic physique would be like that kind of thing, like more streamlined down to the waist. The dad bod's the opposite, right? So that's all it basically is. It's a frame with low muscle mass and high body fat. So it gives off the impression of a lot of fat around the midsection, around the like the waist, where men typically will carry body fat. So that's all it is. That's literally all it is. What I'll do is I'll just go into how this happens, how men end up in this situation, and then I'll touch on how to get out of it, basically, and the best way that I think it is to get out of it. So I just wanted to touch on how the dad bod's actually caused in the first place, so you can kind of understand what goes into this process. So it's basically caused by a lack of resistance training. So you don't lift any weights, you don't look to change your body composition in any way, you just kind of relax all the time. Perhaps you've got a really sedentary lifestyle, perhaps you work in an office, perhaps you don't have a job, perhaps you just kind of lounge about, perhaps you like to play video games all the time, perhaps you're just sedentary, you don't do any resistance training, you don't challenge your muscles, you don't challenge your body in any way, shape or form, basically. So you hold very little muscle mass on the frame. This is the beginning. So where you got the skinny arms and the skinny legs, and you've got the no kind of chest development or shoulder development. It's literally just no muscle. So you're skinny fat, basically. That's what the dad bod is. It's skinny fat. And then in addition to no resistance training to build muscle, you're then overeating. So your body is not using them calories efficiently. So if you went to the gym and you were seeking progressive overload every week in, week out, you're eating in a calorie surplus, you're going to put a decent amount of muscle on, because what happens is, when you work out, that the calories are used to then repair the muscles and make them bigger and stronger. So that's all working out is. It's just basically tearing your muscles and eating to make them grow. That's it. But when you overeat and you're not resistance training, this is stored energy that your body just doesn't use and can't use for anything. So it just stores it for a later date, essentially, because as humans, we're kind of programmed that if we have any excess body fat on us, we store that because there may be times of starvation come in, so our body just kind of holds on to body fat, expecting, you know, some kind of starvation period to come. Because as humans back in the day, we used to just feast, starve, so we might not have eaten for like 3 days. So our body's really good at storing body fat. But this is what happens when you overeat and you don't exercise and you're not resistance training. So overeating is another one. And then also alcohol. Alcohol's a big one that people don't really understand. I'm sure everyone's understands and heard the term the beer belly. That kind of fits into the dad bod and the skinny fat, because if you're, you know, going out every weekend, you don't do any resistance training, you're going out every weekend or multiple times a week, slamming 10 beers, then you're going to be in excess of calories again. And also, when you're drinking such large amounts of liquids out in alcohol form, you're expanding your stomach to the point that your stomach actually then starts developing this roundness. I used to work on bars before I did anything. So when I was at uni, when I was at college, I worked on bars in the evening, and I'd see these guys that were just perhaps in their like mid-40s, early 40s, and they would kind of come into the pub, and they would just, to look at, you'd think they're skinny, like, because they've got skinny arms, they've got quite drawn in faces, they've got, you know, like, they just look like a skinny guy. But then you'd notice it in their shirt, you'd see like a bulge here from where all the excess liquid is kind of just being stored over the years. So that again, drinking alcohol in excess. So to just touch back on everything, how is the dad bod caused? Lack of resistance training, so you're not looking to build any muscle on your frame, so you've got this skinny appearance, but then you're overeating or over consuming, and then calories are not being used efficiently, so they're being stored. In men, fat tends to store around your midsection, unfortunately. It's just where we genetically store fat. Women, it's more in their legs and their thighs and their glutes. But men, it's more in like the midsection here and the lower back as well. That's just how we're, you know, from a genetic standpoint. Not everyone's different, obviously. It is individual sometimes, but the majority of men, that's where they will store their body fat. I'm sorry about this thing bouncing up and down on the screen. I don't know what it's doing. So yeah, that's how it's caused. So I'm going to now go through how to kind of combat this and the best approach that I would take. So how would you look to defeat the dad bod? So if you're somebody in this situation and you don't want to be in the situation anymore, you want to have more of an athletic physique, then the first thing that I'd recommend that you do if you have the dad bod is start lifting some weights, start doing a bit of resistance training. It doesn't even have to be weights. You can do some press-ups and pull-ups in your house or in your room, or you get a pull-up bar from Argos for probably about 10 of these days. Just do something where your muscles are stimulated and they actually feel challenged on a daily basis, and you'll start to see a difference then. So, you know, if you start doing some press-ups, you'll start noticing that your chest will grow. If you do it consistently for a few weeks, and then that gives off more of the appearance of this kind of shape rather than this. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Dad bod is that, and athletic physique is that. That's it. It's just the taper. So that's the first thing. Start lifting some weight, start doing some resistance training, start looking to, you know, build some muscle, get stronger. While you're doing this, I'd also recommend that you eat a high protein diet to ensure that you are actually, you know, protein synthesis is basically taking place, so that when you're breaking down your muscles, it's then being essentially restored and your muscles are repairing correctly, so they grow. So high protein diet, I'd recommend 1 gram per pound of body weight. So say, for example, if you're 180 pounds, eat 180 grams of protein. Some people say lean mass, however, it's kind of, you can do lean mass if you wanted to, because we don't really want to be feeding, you know, excess weight. So perhaps say I'm 195 pounds at the moment. I'm 6 foot. If I wanted to get really lean, I'd probably be looking to lose 10 to 15 pounds, and I'd be about 180, 185, somewhere like that. That'll be in my single digit range then. So I could probably get away with eating about 180 grams. At the moment, I eat 190. I found that's a good sweet spot at the moment. But 180, 185, 180 would be absolutely fine. So if you know what you were when you were skinny, when you were in shape, then perhaps just have your protein target on that, or make it the weight that you want to be. So say you're 250 pounds and you want to get down to 200, perhaps what your protein target at 200, for example. And then just be more active generally as well. So what you want to do is you want to ensure that you're not just lounging around all day, you're not living this sedentary lifestyle. If you do work in an office and stuff, it's a bit difficult because obviously sat down all day. But what you should do as well, while you're doing your resistance training and stuff, perhaps you get up an hour earlier, go for a 30 minute to an hour walk in the morning. You could even do 30 minutes on the treadmill, which is a bit boring, but you could do that. You could look to take up some kind of sport like jiu-jitsu, boxing, MMA, anything like that you could look to do just to be more active generally, and then you'll start noticing a change in your body. So the biggest question that I get is, what should I do first? Because there's a lot of people in this situation, and like I said, this is a situation that's caused by having low muscle mass and high body fat. So the biggest question that I get is, what I don't know what to do first. I don't know whether to go on a cut and get rid of the body fat, or I don't know whether to look to build some muscle. Almost in 90% of cases, I'd say just look to build some muscle. You're overweight, you've got a bit of a belly, but your body and physique will transform and look so much better just by adding a little bit of muscle to your physique. So you don't have to eat in a 1,000, 2,000 plus calorie surplus. You could even do 300, or eat at maintenance, which is what we call a body recomposition stage, where you look to do both at the same time. So if you eat at your maintenance is 2,800 calories, if you ate at that maintenance level and then you've trained every day, your body, it takes a longer time than just going on like a mini cut, like an intense one or something, or a bulk. But over time, then you will do both. So what I'll do is I'll go into detail about them also. If you've got high body fat and you want to, kind of get rid of this dad bod situation, what I'd recommend that you do is first, either you want to go on a bulk and build some muscle, then after you can go on a cut and lose the excess body fat, not the muscle. Or what you can do is you can look to go on a mini cut. So this is quite an aggressive, agitated cut for like 4 to 6 weeks, and then once you've done that and you're down to single digits or low teens, then perhaps you can then start to look in going on a growth or a bulk phase. Or this is what I would recommend to most people: you do both at the same time. It might take a little bit longer, however, this is going to be easier for you in the long run, because if you go on a bulk when you've got a high body fat percentage, the chances are your body fat percentage is going to keep increasing, and you're not going to be able to stick to your bulk, purely because you're going to look in the mirror and think, fuck me, I'm fat. Whereas if you go on a cut, then you're going to be like, oh, I'm not making any progress in the gym, I'm not getting stronger, because you're not having the calories to help you and make your sessions good in the gym. So what I usually would recommend is to people that come to me, the skinny fat, they've got this dad bod. If they're really high levels of body fat, then of course I'd recommend a cut first, because that's when your testosterone starts to peak. When you get to like the high single digits and low teens, that's when men, I think it's like the 10 to 15, that's the best. When you get to single, then it like to 7, 6, 5, your testosterone will start going down again then. But between, I think I read it was between 10 and 15, that's where men are, our testosterone's fully functioning, and then it's easier to put on muscle. So what I'd do is I'd recommend that you do like a body recomposition phase. So this is where you eat at maintenance. So maintenance is basically what you would need for a day. So you can I'll leave a calculator in the description of this video of what you would need for a day, and you will then, what will happen is you'll start to lose your body fat and build muscle simultaneously. So my maintenance at the moment, if I'm training 5 days a week for an hour doing resistance training, and then going on the Stairmaster doing some cardio 3 times a week, is about 3,000 calories. I'm 6 foot, about 190 pounds roughly, give or take. So that's my maintenance. And if I wanted to lose a bit of excess body fat and put on a muscle at the same time, if I didn't want to commit to a cut or a bulk, that's what I would do. So that's what I'd recommend that you do. Find out what your maintenance is, and then you want to eat you want a protein target of 1 gram per pound of body weight. So say you're, like I said earlier, you're 180 pounds and you're lean, you're 160, perhaps aim for 160. Try and do your lean body weight if you want, or you can just do what you are now. It doesn't really make that much difference, if I'm honest. It's not, you don't have to religiously stick by some of this stuff. And then So once you've done that, you've got your protein, you've got your calories on point, and then you just go into the gym and seek progressive overload. Look to go in and get stronger, enjoy your training. This is the thing with people that want to just, you've got the dad bod going on and you want to go on a cut, but then you're going to struggle to make progress in the gym because all you're doing is stripping down this layer of body fat that you've got, and also depleting your muscles as well that you may or may not have at the moment. So I would always recommend body recomposition for this kind of situation. Obviously, it's individual. If you are very high levels, over 20% body fat, then I would, or 25, 30, that kind of range, I'd recommend going on a mini cut first, basically to bring that body fat down a bit, to make it easier for you to build muscle, because then you'll be at better testosterone levels to do so. If you're like 15%, but you just got no muscle, you could probably get away with getting on a bulk up to 20% body fat, put a bit of muscle on, and then perhaps do a mini cut to bring yourself back down, and then continue the bulk. If you're like, I see some guys that are literally like, they've got like 10% body fat, 12% body fat, but they've just got no muscle mass on them at all, so they've still got this dad bod appearance, even though they haven't got that much body fat. So yeah, that's my recommendation. This is quite a long video. I didn't want it to go on this long, to be honest, but that's how I would fix it. I'd do body recomposition, eat at maintenance levels. So figure that out. If you go onto the link that I'll put in the description, you need to figure out what that is, and then it'll basically generate your macros for you. But that's how I deal with it. Mostly 90% of the time, body recomposition is the best way to approach this situation. If you are on the higher end of the body fat, so say you're over 20%, pushing 25, 30, then perhaps look to bring that down a little bit first by getting on a cut. But yeah, most of the time it's just body recomposition. Do both at the same time, why not? But yeah, if you do need any help or assistance, I'll leave a link to my website in the description of this video for online coaching, and also I do a push-pull legs program, which is perfect for any beginners that are looking to build some muscle, and it also includes how to figure out your macros and everything in there as well. So if you wanted to do that, then yeah, basically just have a look in the description.